Tong, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, who first raised the issue of this purported sale. Good evening, sir, and thank you so much for your time.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Great. Honorable, I believe you have listened to the executive director of the WEB Bois Museum Foundation. He denies the allegations that you raised of the transfer of control of the center to a newly established private foundation. And he says this is a collaborative partnership between the foundation and the Ministry of Tourism. First off, what would be your response to this?
Well, good evening to all the listeners of City FM. I will share with you a 46-page agreement, which is titled the Transfer Agreement of the Du Bois Center. I am speaking to an agreement which I have intercepted, which I have in my possession. I'm not conjuring anything. I'm not making anything up. I'm not speaking on matters that are, if you like, conjecture. So the 46-page agreement signed on the 22nd of September 2023 by Ghana's Minister for Foreign Affairs and the Minister responsible for Justice and Attorney General. They signed for and on behalf of government. Interestingly, the Minister for Tourism, who has oversight responsibility for the Du Bois Center, did not sign. I don't know how that happened, even though you read the agreement and it says that it's an agreement between that ministry and the Museum Foundation. So I'm speaking to a transfer agreement. Now, if you go through the terms of the agreement, it is so lopsided. It is so one-sided. You wonder who negotiated on behalf of Ghana, who took the interests of Ghana into those negotiations. Look, would you believe that the agreement does not provide a revenue sharing clause? So there is no revenue sharing. So Ghana is not getting anything really in terms of the revenues that this whole partnership, if it is really a partnership, will generate. Secondly, if you look at the board composition, the agreement says that the WB Du Bois Museum Foundation, which by the way, was incorporated just about 2 years ago, has no track record. And let me also state for those who think that they probably have some linkage with the family of Du Bois, they don't. So in terms of track record, in terms of the guarantee that they can really do what they say they are going to do, they can raise the kind of monies that they are claiming they can raise, because there's no evidence they've done this anywhere. So even in terms of track record, in terms of credibility, one can raise legitimate questions. Now, having said that, you look at the terms. They are going to appoint a majority of the board. They will appoint the board chair. They will appoint the CEO. I mean, so it's a total handover of the facility, 30 years and an automatic 20 years, so 50 years. And then when you read the agreement, there is also no basis for the 50 years. How did they come by the 50 years? What was the actual analysis done? What kind of study? We are not told when you read the agreement. Then again, when you read the agreement, they take over the center for 2 good years before they provide the seed capital, that is the $15 million that they say they can provide. 2 good years. So who negotiated this on behalf of Ghana? So during that 2 years, and you see, don't forget that we are talking about Du Bois, who is such an icon. People come there always. It's one of our major tourist attractions. It is not true that the place is abandoned and all of that. Go there today. You see Africans, people of African descent, scholars from all over the world coming there, visiting Du Bois' tomb, reading his books, The place is also used for events, particularly in the creative arts, for poetry, and all of that. So this claim that the place is as if it's so abandoned and there is no value. We are talking about prime cantonment's land, just near the U.S. Embassy. Who is valuing that? So they shouldn't speak as though, look, what Du Bois represents, many governments across the world would do everything to keep that for their republics. Then you put that aside, you look at the value of the land, of the properties there. So it's as though Ghana doesn't have anything to contribute. And then they are doing us a favor. And you see, consistently, we in Parliament have criticized this lack of transparency when it comes to these arrangements. Look, what stopped government? This is a facility that belongs to all of us. You see, we are talking about good governance. This is a democracy. It is not President Akufo-Addo's personal property or some minister's personal property. What happened to a public engagement, full public disclosure, even a parliamentary discussion on these matters? So you see, the consistent love for secrecy, the penchant to engage in opaque deals without recourse to the people, to due process, is what consistently brings us to this point. Look, if this had been opened up, who knows the offers that will be made and how that will even push people, even if it's this Du Bois Foundation which will get it. The terms will be more favorable. It will be a win-win situation. Now here we are. We don't even have a revenue sharing agreement. And this investment that they are going to make, nobody is for their Christmas in the world. That is why they are hell-bent on controlling the place, controlling the board, having the CEO position, and making sure that they have total control. So what is in it for Ghana? That is the question we have to ask. So I don't have any malice towards anybody. It's not personal. I don't have any axe to grind with anybody. I am only looking at the public interest from the perspective of Parliament in terms of parliamentary oversight. Why have we been taken out? Why is it that this deal is not subject to an open, transparent process? And where is the interest of Ghana? That is what this is about.
So, the lease per se may not necessarily be a bad thing, but the terms of the agreement and the processes leading up to the agreement is what you have a challenge with. Is that right?
Absolutely. The processes. Why should this be shrouded in secrecy? Why did I have to intercept this 46-page agreement before Ghanaians will get to know about this? The WEB Du Bois Center is a public space. It belongs to all of us. Why has Parliament been left out? And then the terms. Why is there no revenue sharing agreement? Why is it that, they have total control? Majority on the board, the CEO, the board chair. It's like, it's a total handover. We are just giving away the WEB Du Bois Center. Is that fair? So are they saying that this has no value, W. Du Bois has no value, the land, all the properties there, the assets there? So it's just, we should just give it up, give everything away like that, and then we are not even told what kind of actuarial analysis has been done. Why 50 years? Why 50 years? And then why is it that they take over the place 2 years? They have 2 years. And you see, let's remember, PBS, we have not even finished talking about PBS. We haven't retrieved all our monies. PBS is keeping our money. Again, lack of due diligence. PBS didn't have the track record. We were told, let's believe them, let's trust them. Let's accept everything they are saying, hook, line, and sinker. And you see what happened. They couldn't raise the guarantees. And government itself said that They have been defrauded. They had to concede. Meanwhile, we raised these issues about track record in Parliament. They didn't listen to us. I'm seeing a similar arrangement here. Look, if people have nothing to hide, they want to be above board. You may have good intentions, but you see, processes are important. Let things be done transparently. Open up. Let us conduct ourselves above board. Let's have a win-win situation for everybody. But when things are shrouded in secret, are you aware that as we speak, David Ajayi again, and he features in every deal since President Akufo-Addo was sworn in. He has already been paid $2.5 million. We are being told that it is monies raised from the donors. But you see, are we sure that was the best deal? And how was David Ajayi? He was just told to come along. No competitive process. Since this government came to power, it's as if we don't have architects in Ghana again. Remember that the Architects Institute had to issue a statement some months ago about how everything is going to David Ajayi. They can't even compete. They are not even allowed to compete. So we have issues. And David Ajayi, are we sure that David Ajayi, with all the problems he faces now, with sexual harassment charges and all of that, are we sure that any project that David Ajayi has designed will have the blessing of the international community, that people will want to put their money in such a project? Look, other countries where David Ajayi works, they have all distanced themselves from him. In the UK, in the US, in the Middle East, everywhere. And then we are still entertaining David Ajayi. He is still milking us. Are we sure that we even have value for money?
Right now,
for those designs? So these are fundamental issues we are raising.
Right. Honorable, in your initial expose regarding this matter, you mentioned that per the agreement, the foundation will appoint a majority of 6 board directors, while the government of Ghana appoints only 3. You went on to say that the agreement also ensures that only 2 government of Ghana nominees will have top management positions, as the foundation enjoys an unlimited number. What would have been an ideal arrangement or agreement in your own perspective?
So, if you look at best practice across the world, when you really say that what you are pursuing is a partnership, if you want to have the CEO, at least we should have the board chair. At least we should have the board chair, so that we can have a fair, say about this matter. Look, we have the asset. We have Du Bois. It is Kwame Nkrumah's, great effort. Du Bois could have, gone to anywhere and he will have received a rousing welcome. He was inspired by what Kwame Nkrumah and the Ghanaian people were achieving here and what it represented to the black people. So he decided to come to Ghana to renounce his U.S. citizenship and to take up Ghanaian citizenship. So such an icon, and it's part of Ghana's history, Ghana's heritage. You don't just give it away. I will say that the government of Ghana should have majority on the board. In all of this, when you read this agreement, there is no value being placed to, what the government of Ghana, what Kwame Nkrumah did, what all of us did to attract Du Bois, and what Du Bois represents to black people, which is, totally invaluable, immeasurable. You can't put a price to it, no matter how much they think they are bringing. Whether it's $200 million, $300, $500 million, no matter what you are bringing, it cannot match what Du Bois represents and how we manage as a country, our founder, our first president, attracting him here. And then the value of the land. We are talking about prime cantonment's land next to the U.S. Embassy. You read the agreement. There is no mention of that, no analysis of that. It's as if they have just come to rescue us, to save us for the Christmas. We don't have anything to contribute. There is nothing we are bringing on board. Meanwhile, if we don't have Du Bois, if Du Bois is not in Ghana, his tomb is not in Ghana, he doesn't have that history with Ghana, who is going to donate any money to you? You cannot raise funds. Nobody will mind you. The reason why people will want to donate to you, it is because of where he is and what Ghana represents in that equation. All of this should not be discounted. It should not be discounted. So this is a very lopsided, unconscionable deal. I mean, and there's even no revenue sharing agreement. It is incredible. This is simply a ripoff, and it ought to be renegotiated. Even if there has to be this partnership, we cannot proceed with this agreement.
Very well. Now, Honorable, before we let you go, we've noticed that you've put out another list of lands sold to persons affiliated with the government. If you can throw some light on this for us.
Yes, you are right. I have been publishing. Indeed, I am engaged in a serialization. Later today, I'll put out part 2 of this list. And I'm just focusing in this particular tranche on the AU Village La Wireless lands. You recall that last week, the lands minister addressed a press conference and stated emphatically that public lands are intact, they are safe and secure. These are his words. He chose these 3 terminologies: intact, safe, secure. And the lands minister said that the Ghanaian people should ignore what I'm saying is all propaganda and that President Akufo-Addo is not selling public lands. Meanwhile, we all see around us on a daily basis, we receive the reports all across the country, public lands that are being sold like there is no tomorrow. So what I have decided, particularly considering the fact that the lands minister is engaged in this grand deception and his continuous refusal, despite a parliamentary request almost 3 years ago to provide the list of all public lands, those that have been sold, who they were sold to, at what cost, and what is left, if any. His refusal to publish that list is what has compelled me to put out the list, because it has now become a reputational issue. When the minister says that, look, ignore him, he's peddling falsehood, we are not selling the lands, the lands are intact, they are safe, they are secure, we have no choice than to publish the truth and let Ghanaians judge for themselves and know who is speaking the truth. So if you look at this first edition, you notice that when we talk about state capture, when we talk about the president selling lands under opaque circumstances to his cronies, remember that under Article 257 of the Constitution, these lands are for all of us. They are public lands. The president is only to manage these lands on our behalf. But here we are, the president. If you look at the first 10 names I've put out, Kate Chinfua, the current MPP women's organizer, he purchased the land from the president on the 31st of August 2022. Then you have Ibrahim Mohammed Awar, the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, at the time of the purchase, 30th of November 2020. Then you have the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Yedu Addison, who also did his purchase on the 31st of August 2022. Elsie Ado Awaji, the deputy governor, on the 27th of August 2020, she also purchased hers from the president. Masolo Poku Afari, the deputy governor, Bank of Ghana, he purchased his on the 31st of August 2022. Then you have Joseph Boahin Edu, the CEO of Cocobot. This is becoming a who is who list, isn't it? He did his purchase on the 30th of October 2020. Then you have Dr. Janet Ampedu Fufie, the chairperson of Presidential Emoluments Committee. She did her purchase on the 29th of June 2022, all under this current lands minister who is saying that they are not selling lands and the lands are safe and intact. Then you have Kwabena Mante Jaktenyako, who is the president's appointee at the Ghana Airport Company Limited. He's on the board. He did his purchase on the 22nd of October 2022. Then you have Ghana's High Commissioner to Canada, His Excellency Anson Rafford Ajete Sowa, did his purchase on the 14th of October 2020. And then you have Anna Asari Odro, who is a former MPP women's organizer in the Holland chapter, on the 25th of February 2021. So these are incontrovertible facts, totally unimpeachable, irrefutable, absolutely impeccable. And in part 2, you will be seeing the unconscionable terms under which these lands were sold under very opaque circumstances. They were not advertised. You see the rates. I mean, So when we talk about state capture, it's real. And you see, we need to be having a discussion as a country. Should these state lands be sold? And if they should be sold, should they be sold under these conditions? What happened to transparent and accountable mechanisms? Even if they should be sold, shouldn't it be advertised? Shouldn't it be open? Shouldn't you, a worker at CTFM, hear about it, know about it? And if you are interested as a Ghanaian, because these are lands for all of us. Remember that these are lands the government acquired since 1947. These are public lands. So to the extent that these things are being done under very opaque, very nepotistic circumstances, being done under the cover of darkness, and we are not even getting value for money. This cannot continue. That is why I am leading efforts for a private members bill so that we ban. You see that this makes that private members bill very relevant, so that politically exposed persons will be prohibited from buying state assets. We cannot continue this way as a country.
Thank you so much, Honorable. But I must say that we are unable here at CTFM to verify or to ascertain these allegations as you have made them. But thank you so much for your time this evening. And we wish you well with the private members bill. And more importantly, we wish you well with the launch of the manifesto tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm absolutely convinced that our manifesto will deal with some of these things. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time.